your shirt off. Take your shirt off.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the world's most reckless football show. That Rona has put a hold on everything, including every single sporting event. So, you know what that means. Football's taking a break, but we haven't because Diddy won't let us.
You'll be hearing from our union.
So sit back and enjoy. We're gonna go over some classic football games we've seen over the years, and let's get to it. So we picked 3 classic games to just review because we love the sport so much that we've seen so much nonsense over the years, and we decided to give you guys a classic in Monaco and Deportivo, which ended up 8-3 Monaco winning. The lineups are gonna be right here, somewhere around here. Anyways, my friend's here and we're gonna talk about this game. So, go through it. Tell us what you saw, what you remember, my friend.
It was violent. It was just vulgar. It was just vulgar. It was very violent.
Yeah.
I still kind of feel the scars from it because there was a lot of goals. There was
11 in one
so
game.
many goals. And I mean, Dardo Perso turned 29 on that day and he scored 4 goals. From my memory, that was, I think, the first game before Messi decided to become a demon. That was the first game I saw a player score more than 3 goals in one Champions League game, from what I remember anyway. And Ludovic Giuly, for the entire game, tore them apart. All his runs through the middle of the pitch, like, Jorge Andrade just could not live with him, like, at all. Pretty much all their chances came from him making a run off their shoulder. And Perso was just eating, Plasil scored an absolute classic of a goal. It was mental. I mean, Evra was bombing up and down the pitch as well. But I think my biggest memory from this game is Diego Tristan's second goal. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get copyrighted for this, but can someone play the goal right now?
Now, can Deportivo add to their total? They've just done so. Tristan again. 7 goals to 3. 10 goals on the board now. Tristan. Well, that was magnificent work by Diego Tristan. He had so much to do.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. Just look at it. I mean, he absolutely ripped everyone apart and then he chipped the goalkeeper. It was just fantastic. But I mean, that to me that was a peak Champions League football. I mean, 2003, 2004, you had, it was on ITV and Sky Sports. It was just absolutely amazing times. So yeah, that's definitely one for the books. If you can find the full 90 minutes somewhere on the internet, I suggest you do watch it. We'll probably watch both legs actually, to be honest. But yeah, the second leg especially. Yeah.
I mean, again, the biggest thing I take away from that game is just, again, there's violence. And there's so many characters who you now think about, Adebayo came off the bench, Evra is there, Diego Tristan's there, Ludovic Giuly, all 5'2" of him, Scalacci.
Oh my gosh. We forgot about the inventor of jog-field football, Valeron. I don't think he's ever sprinted before in his life, ever. I don't think he ever will sprint in his life, to be honest. He literally strolled around the pitch in his bathrobe, or sometimes his warm-up tracksuit, if he could be bothered, and house shoes. He just literally strolled around the pitch, and most pitches he strolled onto, he was the best player on the pitch anyway. So, yeah, I mean, you don't get from midfielders like him nowadays, honestly.
Yeah, and what's crazy about this game? Morientes was missing, and if you guys know who Morientes is, that's a bad boy striker.
Yeah, I mean, it probably could have been 20 if he was playing, to be honest.
Yeah, and then eventually this Monaco team got shellackled by Mourinho's team in the final. So, yeah, that's a bit of fun history for you. So the second game we decided to talk about was Arsenal collapsing against Newcastle in 2011, that 4-4 game.
What's funny about that? What's funny about that?
Everything. I mean, just look at some of the players that Newcastle played. Leon Best, rest in peace to Czech Tiote. Joey Barton was there. And, man, do you know who
fucking
else
Sebastian
came
Colaccini. Sebastian Colaccini.
Do you know who came on the pitch for Newcastle that is a throwback name for everybody? Nile Ranger. Listen, now Ranger had all the talent in the world, but he had zero brains to go with it. So I wonder what now Ranger's doing now with the Corona lockdown. He's probably still on road in it somewhere doing something stupid. So.
Yeah, I mean, that game lives long in the memory of me personally, because for some good reason I thought it'd be a good idea to actually go all the way up north to Newcastle, like this 12-hour train ride. And it was all going fun. It was going fine. You know, got up there nice and early, had something to eat, got to the pitch. It was lovely, jubbly. 4-0 up, Fabregas dominating, Walcott bobbing up and down, Van Persie just, being the best player in the league, doing what he does. And then the 50th minute comes along and Diaby gets sent off for doing something to Joey Barton, which I feel like if you're going to get sent off for doing Joey Barton, do it properly and just punch him square in the face. Just do it. Go all the way. Like, it was just a push to their head, and it should have been way more than that. So yeah, and then after that, the collapse. The Tiote goal, RIP to him, was very, very strange, because never in a stadium have I ever seen a complete vacuum of sound, in the sense that you could hear the entire stadium going crazy, but in the Arsenal section, you can literally hear the contrast, the difference. It was like a wall. It was like you have very noisy neighbours, like screaming their heads off, but you're in your house and it's complete silence. It's something I'd never experienced before, ever. And a funny story of that story, when we left, basically, I hadn't zipped up my jacket fully, so you could still see my Arsenal shirt. So we're walking past the pub, and a drunk guy comes up to me, starts screaming in my face in his Geordie accent, saying, 4-0, mate, are you fucked it up? I was like, okay, get out of my face. And then he tried to put his cigarette out on my shirt. I didn't beat him up, which is good. But that was one of the most memorable games I've ever been to, and I don't want to talk about it anymore because I'm going to burst into tears.
I mean, I think the funny thing about this game is that Leon Best played. I mean, Leon Best was like Drake almost at some point. Like, for like 2 months, he was actually a good player, and then like I don't even know what happened to him. Like, I was looking at the bench, like Guthrie and like Shane Ferguson and
Danny Guthrie, fuck me,
Kieran Gibbs, Shamak, Eboué. Golly, man, there's some players on this thing. You're just like, yo, what are they doing now? I bet Eboué is probably somewhere like running around North London, just literally running. I don't know what he's doing, but he's running right now. Shamak is probably like trying to plot a coup of some like North African country. Don't know which one, but he's plotting one. So watch out for him. And Arshavin's probably like the heir to Putin's throne and shit. Who knows what that guy's doing? And Giroud is probably dyeing his hair some other like different color, because God knows for him. And Sanya, well, don't know, man. Let's move on to the last game that's gonna make me cry. Man Utd, Barcelona 2009 Champions League final. Before we actually recorded, we were talking about the 11 final and how that game was literally just like, it was a massacre. Like, the 09 was the least presentable, but 11 was just rude. Like, it was just straight up just like, yo, we're gonna beat your ass. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, Ferguson's hand was shaking. That's how bad that game was. So, 09 final, I mean, like, Eto'o just kind of proved that he is the GOAT African striker. He finished Vidic something stupid, and then like Evra, I mean, it was just bad, man. All over, it was bad. And then Messi just doing a bullet header. But I knew we were screwed when we started a midfield of Carrick and Anderson. Like, who does that? Like, Ferguson was just drunk towards latter years. So I have nothing to say about that game because I've cried enough tears. Like 11 years later, I still cry tears. So.
Oh, I've got something to say. I've got a lot to say.
Say it.
So, first of all, any team that goes into a Champions League final starting both O'Shea and Anderson, they don't deserve good things. That's just the rule. I don't make the rules, but you don't deserve good things. Ji-sung Park, I'm certain, probably lost about 20 to 30 pounds in that 90 minutes of just chasing after Iniesta, who happened to be playing with a hamstring injury as well and ended up being the man of the match, which tells you the measure of the man. I think from my memory, this was the first high-profile game that we saw Messi in the false nine role. So on the lineups, it showed obviously Eto'o through the middle, Henry on the left, and Messi on the right, and then Guardiola doing what he does, obviously, you know, being the experimental mad scientist he is, decides to put Messi through the middle, and that caused all sorts of trouble for United. They just couldn't pick him up at all, and which shows in his goal, because who the hell at 4'2" is out jumping Vidic and Ferdinand? So yeah, and across from Xavi of all people. So yeah. But again, I mean, we saw Eto'o ruin Vidic for the goal, and then later in the game, it should have probably been the third goal. We saw Henry ruin Ferdinand in a relatively similar manner as well, which should have resulted in a goal as well. It was a bad beating. But what I will say, that first 9 minutes before the goal, United looked like the best team on the planet. I mean, and then after that, Barcelona just decided to take over. But yeah, it was one of those finals where it was like we all kind of knew the outcome, but there was still hope for United. But once that first goal went in, it was just a matter of Barcelona just getting to the final whistle. So yeah.
You said something just now. You just said something about the third goal and Henry almost scored. When has Henry ever scored in the final?
Well, that's a very, very good point. He has never scored in the final before.
So I think that's where we ended. So during these downtimes, you know, we want to give you guys content, let you guys ask us any question you want. Don't forget to use the hashtag SPS. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram or Twitter. We're going to try and keep you guys engaged because, you know, when football's down, we're all down. But there's been enough content and like just craziness over the past few years that we can just go through it. So message us, message me, let me know what you guys want to talk about. And we'll come up with more classic games because there's a lot we want to talk about. So from us, be safe, please. Wash your hands for at least 26 seconds. Use hand sanitizer if you can. Avoid people. Stay within 6 feet. Make sure that we get rid of this virus. So be back with more content. You guys take it easy and be safe. Peace.
Take your shirt off.